Conspiracy theories that turned out true. Canadian fruit machine. The term fruit machine sounds like it belongs in a neon-lit casino or a poorly managed smoothie shop. But if you've got a sharp mind, you're probably already guessing it's nothing that innocent. And if you're still completely in the dark, let me give you its unofficial historical title, the Canadian government's official gaydar. Now, if I looked you dead in the eyes and told you that during the Cold War, the Canadian government poured tax dollars into building a literal gay detection machine, just to hunt down and fire LGBTQ plus citizens, you'd call me a conspiracy theorist, right? Well, you wouldn't be alone. But unfortunately, you'd be dead wrong. The Canadian government did exactly that. Let me explain. The whole point of this bizarre operation was to identify and aggressively purge homosexual individuals from government roles, specifically targeting the military, foreign affairs, and law enforcement. They genuinely believed gay people were a massive national security threat who could be easily blackmailed by Soviet spies. So in the 1960s, a university professor named Dr. Frank Robert Wake was tasked with finding a foolproof way to spot them. What he came up with wasn't high-tech espionage. It was just incredibly awkward, highly unscientific pseudoscience. How it worked was basically a joke. They would strap a subject into a chair, which looked suspiciously like a dentist's chair, and force them to look at a screen. The machine would flash erotic images mixed with everyday photos while a camera measured the subject's pupil dilation. They also measured sweat production and heart rate. It was essentially a polygraph test, but instead of detecting lies, it was trying to detect what turned you on. Unsurprisingly, the machine was an absolute failure. It didn't account for basic human variables like nervousness, varying eye sizes, or the sheer terror of being strapped to a government apparatus. But despite being a total piece of junk, the government took the results dead seriously. The fruit machine fiasco led to the systematic interrogation, harassment, and firing of thousands of innocent people. Oh, and did I mention this video gets darker as the list goes on? Japan's missing citizens. For years, one of the strangest rumors in Japan sounded too unbelievable to be true. People claimed that North Korean agents were secretly crossing the sea, kidnapping innocent Japanese citizens, and taking them back to North Korea. Most people dismissed it immediately. Think about it. Why would an entire country risk an international crisis just to kidnap ordinary people? It sounded more like the plot of a spy movie than real life, so the story was brushed off as just another conspiracy theory. But then, people started disappearing. Not politicians, not military officers, not wealthy businessmen, just ordinary people living ordinary lives. A 13-year-old girl walking home after badminton practice, a young couple enjoying an evening walk near the beach, a woman returning home from work. One moment they were there. The next, they were gone. There were no witnesses, no ransom demands, no signs of a struggle. It was as if they had simply vanished. As more people disappeared, the rumors only grew louder. Some believed North Korean spy boats were quietly approaching Japan's coastline under the cover of darkness. According to the stories, trained agents would land on remote beaches, kidnap a victim in minutes, and disappear back across the sea before anyone noticed. It sounded impossible. The media dismissed the claims. Many people laughed at the idea. Authorities struggled to explain the disappearances. As the years passed, families refused to give up. They searched for answers. They kept their loved ones' stories alive. But with every passing year, hope slowly faded. Then decades later, the truth was finally revealed. The conspiracy that millions had dismissed wasn't just a rumor. Between 1977 and 1983, North Korean agents had abducted Japanese citizens and taken them back to North Korea. What once sounded impossible had actually happened. The next question shocked people even more. Why? According to what later became known, some victims were taken to teach Japanese language, culture, and customs. Others were reportedly used to help train North Korean intelligence agents so they could blend into Japanese society during undercover missions. Imagine having your entire life stolen, not because you were famous, not because you were powerful, but simply because you happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Even today, some families are still searching for answers. Some victims have never returned, and many believe the full story has still not been told. Operation Acoustic Kitty. On paper, the premise actually made a weird kind of sense. Think about it. Nobody questions a stray cat wandering around a windowsill or lurking near a park bench. If you saw a cat in 1960s, you wouldn't think, a Soviet operative. You'd think, oh, kitty? The CIA genuinely believed that if a Russian spy was having a bad day, He might just sit down, pet a stray cat, and casually vent about his plans to overthrow the West. Compared to some of the other unhinged stuff the US government was cooking up during the Cold War, this actually passed for rational. Naturally, the execution was an absolute disaster. From house cat to cyber kitty first of all, the budget. The CIA spent over $10 million on this project. Adjusted for modern inflation, that is over $80 million. And here's the kicker. That wasn't for an army of super spy cats. That was for one single cat. Most of that money went into pioneering bizarre surgical techniques to turn a regular mammal into a walking wiretap. They stuffed a microphone into its ear canal, a battery pack in its chest, and ran an antenna wire all the way down its tail. On a serious note, you have to wonder how many test cats didn't survive the R&D phase of this madness. So, a genuine moment of silence for the real victims of the Cold War, the lab kitties. Once the CIA successfully built their Frankenstein feline, they hit a massive roadblock. Cats do not care about the geopolitical triumph of capitalism. During field training, the cat did exactly what cats do. It got bored, it took naps. If it saw a piece of garbage, it went to eat it. Then the CIA's response to this completely normal animal behavior: we need more wires. Every time the cat got distracted, they performed another surgery to try and override its brain chemistry and program away its hunger. They weren't just building a spy. They were trying to build a half-cat, half-cyborg machine. Despite the hiccups, the big day finally arrived. The CIA decided it was time for a real-world field test. They drove a high-tech surveillance van to a park in Washington, D.C., where two targets were sitting on a bench. The handlers opened the van door, set their $80 million cyber kitty on the pavement, and waited for it to eavesdrop on the secrets of the Soviet Union. The cat took a few steps forward and immediately wandered directly into oncoming traffic, where it was struck by a taxi and died instantly. Just like that, the cat was gone, and so was the project. The CIA officially canceled Operation Acoustic Kitty shortly after, proving once and for all that while you can spend millions trying to conquer the human mind, you can never, ever control a cat. If you want more conspiracy theory videos, let me know in the comments and I'll gladly make a part 2 and part 3. Thank you so much for watching. Don't lose this channel. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more.